Hello. I have a mission today, and that is to be fully present right here, right now. In fact, that is my mission for every day. Let me start by saying that I noticed the season for nonviolent practice for the day is mission. There's a beautiful quote by Richard Bach, and I'm going to paraphrase it. Something along the lines is, how do you know when your mission is done? Are you still here? Are you on earth? Your mission is going on. It has a lot of relevance for me, seeing as how I retired a year and a half ago. And probably many of you know that when you retire or make a big change, you wonder, well, what is my mission now? How is it still going? I want to talk about why that seems important and how I believe that it's really important for all of us. One of the very first spiritual teachings that I and many people ever read was Be Here Now by Ram Dass. And it's simple and yet a little bit complicated. One of the things I noticed when I was here in November speaking, and I'd spoken so many times in Des Moines and other places, like years, that when I looked at the video, I thought, oh my goodness, I was not in my body when I was speaking. I had come with this message that I really wanted to give, so I just wanted it to be clear and beautiful, and I wanted to remember everything that I had to say. And so I was really focused on the message, and I wasn't present. So today what I want more than anything is to be like solidly here in this body, in this space and time. Think about it. How often have you noticed that you're not really in the present moment? Our thoughts very often take us into the past and into the future. Well, 2 weeks ago, I had a really dramatic week that I want to share with you and notice the times I was in present and the times I wasn't, and how that's a spiritual practice, noticing. Noticing is a lovely spiritual practice because all we have to do at any given moment is stop and notice. Like right here, right now. With me, you can do a little bit of spiritual practice. Are you in your body? Do you feel yourself sitting? Are you noticing the fans or the air? Maybe you're at home, sitting in a comfortable place. What are you noticing about the quality of the live stream, about the things that are going on in the room that you're in? This week, 2 weeks ago, I called my talk birth, wedding, deathbed, airplane. You are here. Because all those things were up for me. And you might think it's interesting if you go into it, well, which things did I not want to be present for? Which things maybe brought up a little fear or a little bit of planning in the future? And which things was I able to be present for? And what's a spiritual lesson that I can share? Birth, one of my friends had a baby, and she was on the island of Lanai. So she had to get off the island to have the baby. She came to Oahu and had this beautiful baby. I didn't get to see it, but I could see the picture of it every day on Facebook. And she was nice enough to post a picture of this baby. And you would think that that would be something I would be very present for. And I did love the baby. I love babies. You give me a baby to hold, I'm happy. But it brought up some feelings about having a baby in Hawaii. From my own special case of having a baby in Hawaii and giving him away to be adopted. The happy ending of that story is we're reunited. But it was interesting to me that instead of being fully present and just being able to look at the picture of the baby, there was a part of my mind that dragged me way to the past, more than 40 years ago. So that was some learning. We were, my husband and I, we traveled to Michigan to be at our daughter's wedding February 2nd. We had a lot of discussion with her about why she thought she needed to be married on February 2nd in Michigan. But we went, of course, anyway. And we did love it. But now, weddings, lots of family come together. Do you guys have family? Do you have family that, well, let's see, it brings out everything in you, right? The best, the worst, the love, it often brings out the future and the past and not the present. And I was really working on being present. I was doing some presencing exercises, which we'll do a few together besides just noticing. I was doing my presencing exercises, and I was staying with our daughter. They were nice enough to put us up, and we had some other family there. We had the groom's family and our family and people. And I'd say I was pretty much in my body for the first 3 days. And then I think I left it because I noticed that I just noticed a physical thing going on with me. Like I had a little soreness in my shoulder. I noticed that I didn't meditate. Like for the first 3 days, I was meditating and doing my spiritual practice. And then the next 3 days, I just got thrown off. I got thrown off. I don't know if anybody there could sense that I wasn't fully present, but I know that there's a part of me that shut down a little bit or left, was in the past, was in the future, was not fully present because I was feeling a little overwhelmed. I personally like to be alone in rooms. Anybody else like that? I also like to be alone outside. And hey, Michigan, snow. I did it. I did go outside in the snow like almost every day, but it wasn't a place I wanted to linger. And I didn't necessarily have the peaceful, the things you can do here in our beautiful place of Oahu. Anyway, so that was one thing I noticed. And here is the rub of that. If I'm not present for myself, I am not present for the other people that I am connecting to and that I am in the room with. And I noticed that when it came to the wedding, it was a great wedding and it was lovely and fun and wonderful. But that was kind of when I realized, wow, here's the wedding. I have been spending some of my time not fully present. So I pretty much did the best I could to get there and be present and experience the wedding and be present with everybody there. So Deathbed, our son-in-law was passing away. Another, a member of that family in Michigan. One of our other daughters, our son had had a inoperable brain tumor diagnosed 8 weeks before he died. We were able to visit him and be with him. And let me tell you, that was the most present I was able to be that whole trip. Because when I was in the room with Johnny, he'd been maybe it'd been about 6 weeks. He'd had the diagnosis. He was in the hospital bed in the living room. And he was so there. He was peaceful. And mostly his wife and his daughter were taking care of him, and we were there. And I sat by that and could talk to him. I felt his presence so alive and so present with me in a way that enabled me to also be present with him. And I didn't need to say anything. I said a few things. I said, I love you. When I left, he said, I love you, which was wonderful. But it was more than what we talked about. It was being together in the room with somebody who is there, even though he was getting ready to leave. And he did. After we came back to Oahu, he passed about a week ago. And of course we feel sad, and of course we miss him, but mostly I do have a feeling of happiness and a blessing and of peace. So that was pretty interesting for me to notice that I could feel so present at Johnny's passing or at his deathbed. Well, then comes the experience that knocked me back to preschool in my spiritual growth, the airplane. We left Michigan, and it was a great day. We got dropped off at the airport, and for whatever reason, I was not present. And so what I noticed was anytime anything bothered me, I had the misfortune of sharing that in a way to my wonderful spouse, who is my emotional support puppy. He doesn't always want that, but he's my emotional support puppy. And I wish I could say as soon as I got on the plane, I noticed how I was being, but no. It was 2 flights and an overnight in Vegas, but it wasn't really till I got back on Oahu that at the end of that flight, that I noticed, wow, I have been a royal pain. But here, what I think is what I want to learn. You know, the reason I'm telling you is, yes, you could be sure to give him empathy. He will like that. But I want to notice how just some people love flying and some people don't like it so much. I'm kind of in the middle, but I was not able to get comfortable in the seat. And I think I wasn't, maybe I didn't like the food. There might have been a number of things. Maybe I didn't get my tea in the morning. All I remember is this. Instead of the spiritual practice that I know and love and that will work when something arises in me where I'm feeling like, oh, I don't like this, I don't want to be here. Instead of pausing and taking a moment and being with myself, putting myself actually in my body, I didn't. I did everything possible to leave my body. I had I tried to see all the movies I could see or all the audiobooks I could read. And I was not present. And when my arm hurt or whatever, I had a little shoulder thing, so I would get up and try to move it, but it just wouldn't work. So instead of sitting with that and saying, hey, what's going, hey arm, hey shoulder, what's going on? What do I need to do in this moment to be here, to fully embrace this moment? And then actually it sounds a little bit dramatic, but fully embrace the moment and be in the oneness, Anything, a sore shoulder to a missed flight or whatever can bring us to the oneness, and the oneness is where we want to be. The oneness is all that. It's beautiful, and it is our mission. I believe so strongly that the most wonderful, beautiful thing you can give me is just to be yourself in your body, in present time and space, and be here with me. That was the gift that I got from Johnny, and that was the gift that I got the first half of the week in Michigan, when I was able to be present for the people in my life. And I did not have or give that gift on the airplane at all. I did not. It is my mission, and I invite you to make it your mission too. So right now, here's this wonderful opportunity. There's people in this room. There's people at home who are with us, and earlier, we prayed together and we sang together. So we have been creating a oneness, a mastermind, if you will. And we have been creating an experience together. So let's take it a little further. Let everybody practice. Now, a very easy hack, which one of my spiritual teachers calls spatial referencing, and another one calls triangulating, and you may have practiced it and know it as something different. It is a way to connect. So the first step is you notice yourself in your body, and then you notice 3 items that are in the physical space with you. Usually we try with inanimate objects or plants, things that don't move around, not necessarily people or birds or clouds. But like, for example, I would note, you notice the physical object, and you notice how far away it is. Like, I'm just going to use this plant, that plant, and that plant. Those 3 things. I'm going to notice this plant, and then I'm going to see it's about this far, and then I'm going to feel I'm here compared to that. Then I'm going to notice the fern and see what that's that far away from me. I'm going to notice it, and I'm going to feel how far away it is from me. I feel it. And then the third plant on this side, I notice there it is, and I'm going to feel how far away it is from me. That simple thing is what we call triangulating. It is amazing how this physical thing, it doesn't even much involve any emotion or calming. It could probably involve breathing, because breathing's always good, but that process. So I invite everybody to just take a minute and triangulate. Just look at 3 things, quick. You can do it quicker than I led us through it. And then let's take a breath. Just everybody take a breath, doesn't matter what kind. Just in and out, the in and out kind. And here we are together in this room, or together at another space, listening or watching this video, and we are present. Let's take it a little bit further, since we're all present and together. And let us add noticing. So here we are, and notice what's happening around you. You can look if you want to, or move if you want to. Notice, and then return back to yourself. Get yourself in here. Get yourself in this body. So thank you for doing that with me. One of the phrases, or let's see, I guess it would be a way of looking at the universe, is the idea of a quantum jump. A quantum jump is actually a physical term for science when the energy particle jumps to a new quantum level. Quantum jump. And all of the metaphysicians love that word. We use quantum leap, quantum jump. We love it because it explains something that is a little bit of a mystery, isn't it? And we go spiritually from one place to another. We jump up. And sometimes it seems to happen miraculously. Maybe all the time it seems to happen miraculously. Sometimes it seems like it's hard work, but a lot of times an actual quantum jump, you just go from this level to that level. Now, a couple weeks ago, I was seeing a physical therapist who was telling me about my core. She said something along the lines of, I can't even think of a better way to say this, but your core is kind of shot all to heck. And she showed me how to find my core muscles. Well, it took I had a little bit of difficulty. Like, being in my body is not it's actually not very natural to me. And just a little bit of history, when I was a little kid, I had a great imagination. I spent a lot of time in my head reading and being excited about my imagination and not being fully present. So I do have the gift of imagination, but it takes me a while to get back into my body. So here's this physical therapist. She's a wonderful woman. She's teaching me to be in my core, and she's showing me exercises. I'm not going to do them because they're not so pretty. But just the interesting part to me in the spiritual corollary is to find the core muscle. Like, we all have a core, but I had to find my core muscle. I had to find the muscle. Well, I did the exercises, and I had the thought, oh, my core is shot all to hell. And then this week, my brother-in-law visited, and he was telling me he was excited about, I was looking for my core, and he showed me that it might actually be in a different place. And he said, your core is strong. And he showed me how to find it. And he said, your core's not all shot to heck. Your core is strong. You just have to find it. And spiritually, we know we have a core. We know we have a spiritual core, which is the oneness, which is our Christ self, which is our highest self, which is what we want to be in. We want to be connected to. That's what causes aliveness and fun. And I would like to remind each of us that our core is strong, and we just have to sometimes find the muscles to find the core. Okay? I took that to heart, and it made me feel much happier to have a core that I just needed to find instead of a core that was all shot to heck. I will keep you apprised of how good I'm getting and how strong I am, and when I develop a six-pack. But, that's for later. Anyway, on the road to oneness, presence, knowing our core, knowing that we each have our mission and that our mission is not done, I am very excited, and also good news, bad news, sorry to tell you that your mission is not done. This here in this body, each of you, you're not done. You have stuff to do that's really critically important. And the most important thing is for you to be here. For you to be here, for me to be here, for us to be in our bodies together. And I know everybody has a little bit of a challenge with that, because I know our heads have a lot of thoughts and the world pulls at us. And so that my gift to you, if you would care to use it, is that little easy hack about triangulating or spatial referencing. Just put yourself in the place. Breathing's always good. And remember how lovely it is to be in a room or in a space with somebody who is fully present. Whether it is a baby being born, whether it is somebody getting married, whether it is your emotional support puppy on the plane with you, or a loving member of your family who is getting ready to pass. You are the gift. You are the Christ, and you can do it. So let us take a little time to go inside in this presence. Let us breathe together. We'll call this a meditation. We'll call this a centering. And practice one more time. I want you to feel where you are in this beautiful human body right now. In this chair, or whether you're standing, wherever you are, I want you to feel yourself in here. And as you breathe out, I want each of us to notice the core, the Christ, the brightness that is there illuminating the connection of you. And just let that core, that brightness spread. It spreads through your body. It spreads through the space around you. And today, the brightness spreads to all that are with us in the room, online, or whoever watches it in the future. We are here and we are one. Let us be in silence together and appreciate this oneness.